Record. Alrighty, so hi everyone. Let's start again. Okay, so thank you so much for joining the end of year account processing for the year. So I'm not sure if any of you have this kind of concern, like, oh, this is so confusing. I've never done this before. Feeling a little bit anxious. Like, where do I even start? Like, how do I archive last year's data, and what should I prepare for the new school year? So no worries. Today's workshop, we will work you through everything step by steps. So today's goal, we have 5 goals. The first one, use the admin account with confidence. So that's something that I want you to have, at least this one. And then we will be able to do the end of year archiving and get ready for the new school year. So generally speaking, what is admin council? What is your role as an administrator? And how are we going to do with the end of year, like that kind of data? Basically, how do we put all the data from last year? And how are we going to do things for the new year? So archive the old one and create a new one. And then we have lots of common mistakes I want you to avoid. You understand exactly what to do and why we are doing it. And if you make the mistake, how we fix it. And also, please keep all your devices, applications, and browsers updated to the latest versions at all time, because we have new features and it requires regular update. Okay, so now we have new features. Like I said, we will have the menu ready, but I'm just going to quickly send you the link. So if you wanted to know the latest features, this will be the place for you to reference. And then if you have no problems, we're going to talk about how to use the admin account. Okay, so first, a very important rule is do not share the admin account. So what does that really mean? So I remember every school has been given a very unique set of user ID and password. So this is what I mean. If your user ID is admin, so if let's say there will be 2 or 3 teachers in a school that wanted to have the joint management, so we will grant individual permissions. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to just quickly show you. So let's say you have 1 teacher from the school. You just click grant admin permissions, and then you click on grant. But if you don't want this teacher to be in charge anymore, we can revoke that administration. Okay, so let's say this teacher has been moved to another school, and then you just click her name and then click on revoke the admin permission, and it will be revoked. So I have a little tips for you. So every school, it's recommended to have at least 2 administrators, but not too many. Because sometimes you might forget your login ID or login information password. But if you have another admin in the same school, so that administrator can actually issue a new password for you instead of you coming to me, and then we have to do the verification to see that if you're actually working in the school. So I would say for 2 administrators would be easier instead of 1, but not over 4 or 5. Because everybody will have the authority to change the password. And let's say you have 1 teacher change a password without telling to another teacher, it will be very difficult to manage. So I would say just 1 school, 2 or 3 administrators should be good enough. Okay. All right. So we talked about the purpose and process. It's very simple. So purpose for the end of account processing is the first one. Last year, we are going to put all the data archive to the Loyola folder. And then we will prepare for the new school year. First, let's do the pink together, which is the end of year account processing, the archive part. The first one, process graduates and transferring students, and subjects, and classes, handling teachers who are transferring or retiring. Once you finish the pink part, let's move on to the green part. Okay, so new school year. Registered new teachers if you have new teachers, and registered for new students if you have new students, And 7 and 8 is compulsory. Like, of course, you have current students, right? So register new classes for current student, and then you register subjects for new school year. All right, so you don't remember, that's fine, because you don't have to remember. It's very easy, just step by step. So once you finish the last step, the system will guide you through the next step. Okay, the process is very simple. Upload one Excel file to the Loylos cloud server. Okay, so before we start, I wanted to make sure everybody have got your Excel file ready. I've already put it in the WhatsApp because we need that Excel template for today's processing. So if you haven't downloaded yet, please let me know. And I'm going to send it to WhatsApp again so that you have the Excel file that we're going to use it for today. Alrighty, so this is the Excel template for new school year. So we're going to use it for the green part. So we don't have to use it now. Okay. Alrighty. So now, please, everybody follow me. If you're in your white Loyola Admin Council, let's do the export the existing student roster. So everybody, please go to your admin school. Click on students. Okay, let's do it together. So click on students, and then there is a square boxes in your left-hand side. Okay. Click on check all students on this page, and then click on export. So you should be able to have an Excel file. Okay, so let's do it together if you're not sure. So students and the square checkbox. Click on check all students on this page and click on export. Okay, then you will be given one Excel template, and I'll let you know why do we have to use it, okay? So for this Excel spreadsheet, we have the existing students' information, student ID, student name, the existing class information, isn't it? So there's one thing I want you to always remember. Please do not change student IDs because, you know, it's like your identification card. You only have one, right? The same informations. So in Loyola, student IDs, it's like the student's identification card. Even though students graduate or they move to another grade, still the same student, right? So please do not change the student's IDs because that's a very unique one. Now let's do the export the existing teacher roster. So now everybody please go back to your admin council, click on teachers. Okay, and we'll do it together very slow. So teachers, and also the same square box, check all teachers on this page. And then once you've finished, click on export, and you'll be given another Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so let's do it together again. So teachers and the square box in the left-hand side, click on check all the teachers on this page, click on export. Okay, then you'll be given an Excel spreadsheet. So again, we have another Excel spreadsheet. The reason why we export the current roster was because sometimes if you make a mistake, let's say if you accidentally change the student ID or teacher's ID, you still have the original one, right? So we can always change it back. So I kind of like, sometimes I always wanted to have a backup, but it's not really compulsory for you to export all of this Excel spreadsheet. But for me, it's always, I would say it will be better to have a backup. So also the same, do not change the teacher's IDs because let's say, even though you have teachers moving from the school to another school, but those teachers are still the same person, right? It's like the identification card. You will never change an identification card because it's the same person, right? So for me, it's easy to understand. This ID is something that you don't need to touch. Okay, and click on settings, please. Okay, we're gonna do it together as well. So settings, and find the end of year account processing. Yes, click on it. And then we've actually got a menu here. So if you forgot how to do the end of year account processing, please don't worry about it. Like we've got everything written in the menu. And also today, once we've finished, I will give you my loyal data, like my presentation notes, and also this video recorded, and also the Excel template for you to practice. Okay, so start end of year account processing. So basically, that's the process to start with. Okay, then let's do it together. So click on settings. And then click on end of year account processing. All right, so this is the menu for you to see if you forgot in the future. But now let's do the pink sessions together. So start end of year account processing. Okay, then we'll go straight into these pages. I know it's a lot of words. I mean, if you wanted to read through it, it's okay. But if you don't, it's not a big deal. There's something that are very important to read, and I'm going to explain in a sec. Okay. So first, we start with the pink one, which is the archiving old data. So the first step, it's called how to process the graduate and transferring students. So if in your school, in real case, okay, if the graduation date is set, the student will auto-graduate. So, but we'll show you how to manually process graduations for your practice. So this is how it looks like, so many words, right? And let's say you have students without a set graduation date. So this is how we actually look like. Okay, so the yellow one is the current status. And these icons is the graduates and transferring students can be managed through either the classes icon or the students icon. We will practice more to give you a hint of it. And the last session, these sessions allows you to check for students without a set graduation date. So let's say in your current status, it says there are students whose expected graduation is not set. So then this list will tell you exactly what's going on. The students doesn't really have a graduation date. Okay, so let's try together. So select class to manage graduates. So let's do it together. So so let's say in your admin council, it should look like this because I just made it all of them. So let's say you have 12 students, none of them have graduation dates. And let's click on class. So classes, so 6-1, year 6. Click on graduate, change graduation date. So end of this academic year, click on update. And for 5th grade, click on graduate, change graduation date 1 year later. And then for 1, graduate, change graduation date 2 years later. And 3-1, graduate, change graduation date. What is that? 3 years later? Yes. You know, sometimes I got pretty confused as well, but you know what? It's okay. Slow down, and you're never gonna make mistakes. And then for 2-1, graduate, change graduation date. That should be 4 years later. Yep. And then the last one, graduate, change graduation date 5 years later. Click on update. So, and then when you go back to your admin council and click on update, it should look pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so let's pause there for a little while because I also wanted to show you something else. So let's say in your school, you only have 1 student doesn't have graduation date. Okay, so you don't have to operate this with me. You just want to see how it looks like. Okay, so let's say in your school, there's 1 student doesn't have the graduation date. So you can just, okay, it's too fast, sorry. So let's say in one school, in your school, there's only 1 student who doesn't have graduation date. So instead of clicking on classes, you can go straight to the students, which is this icon, okay? Okay, so if you click on it, and then you will find there's 1 student doesn't really have a graduation date. And you can just click on the student and change the graduation date. That will be easier. Okay. All right. So once you're finished, then please go back to the admin console and click on update. So this time, please click on complete and proceed. Okay. So let's do it together. So let's say you just finish all the graduation date setting up, and you can see that there will be 2 students who is expecting to be graduated. Remember, we just set up the year 6. So 2 students will be graduated at the end of this month. So once you finish, click on complete and proceed. Alrighty. So then it will go straight to close subjects. Okay, did you see that we've got a green tick in here? So which means we finish the graduates and transferring students. Now we are going to do the subjects. So remember, we talked about you have to do it in order. So please don't skip this one and go straight to classes. It's not going to work, okay? Alrighty, so let's do the end subjects. So if and end date is set, the subject will automatically end, but we'll show you how to manually process it as well. So this is how it looks like, a lot of words, but don't worry about it. So let's say you have a subject without an end date. So let's look at this graph. So the yellow box is the current status. And that's the icon. So that's the duration of subjects that can be set through the subject session. This one, okay? So we will be using the subjects icon for operation. So this one will be the list. So this session allows you to check for subjects with an unlimited subject period. Okay, so let's look at your admin screen. So looks like we have so many subjects that doesn't really just with unlimited course period. Okay, so let's say you have 48 subjects that doesn't have anything in it. So this one, it's pretty easy. So if you click on the icons, the subject icon, and then left-hand side, there is a square checkbox. You tick on it and select all subjects on the page. Check all subjects on this page. And then click on change terms. Change terms. So let's say it's 2025. So I'll just put 2025, January 1. All right. So please keep an eye on this one. So because we're doing this year's end of year account processing, so all your current subject should start January 1st, 2025. But for next year, it will be 2026. Okay, you basically don't really need to touch this part because it has been automatically set by default the end of the year. Shouldn't be a big problem. So make sure don't take indefinite period. The reason was that if you set an end date for subjects, so at the date, let's say the 31st of December, all the subjects will go automatically to the past subjects. That's the only reason for it. Okay, so let's say you change all the period for the subjects, click on confirm and click on OK. Alrighty, then you see that we've got the subject period like that. And then don't forget to go back to your administration, the admin page, and click on update. So you will see that, see, all subjects have a term period set. So let's say this is my page. So once I've finished setting up the course period, I will click on update. See, it says all subjects have a term period set. So that's how it goes. So before we proceed to the next step, remember the purpose of this action is to close the subject, right? Click on subjects. So just click on subjects and the square boxes in the left-hand side. Click on check all subjects on this page. And this time, click on end selected subjects. Click on confirm. Okay. So once you finish ended subjects, so this time we can click on complete and proceed. All right. So now we will go straight to classes. Classes. Okay. So we finished subjects. Now we're going to do the classes. Okay, again, if an end date is set, the class will automatically end. But we will also show you how to manually process the data. So this is how it looks like in maybe in a typical school. But let's say today you have classes without an end date. So again, this is the current status, and the classes icon is how we can use the duration of classes can be set through the classes session. And this is the list. So this session allows checking for classes with an unlimited course period. Alrighty, so this is your screen. Okay, let's do it together. So let's say you have 6 classes who doesn't have a course period. So when you click on classes, again, the square boxes in your left-hand side, all classes, again, change term. Okay, so once you've finished, click on confirm and click on OK. All right, so you will have the period being set. And go back to your admin console and click on update. Okay, so now let's do it together. So let's say this is your admin account. So now you have 6 classes doesn't have a course period. So go to classes. And remember, we have the square boxes in here. So click on check all classes on this page. Yep. And then click on change terms. So 2025 0101, and don't worry about this one. And if it looks okay, click on confirm. Hey, then you'll see that we have set the subject period. So again, go back to your administration page and click on update. You see all classes have a term period set. All right. So remember, the main purpose is not just changing the terms, but also to end the classes. So now again, go back to your admin console. If you stay in your classes page, stay in there. And then again, left-hand side square boxes, select all and selected classes and click on confirm. So everything will go straight to the finished classes. Alrighty. So once you finish, click on complete and proceed. So everything will go to the finished classes, 2025. So did you see that in current, there isn't any classes anymore? Because when we click on the end selected classes, every classes has been archived to the finished classes. So that's how we're gonna do it. Alrighty. So let's say you finish all the process. Now let's click on complete and proceed. Okay, so now let's say this year you have one teacher transferring from this school to another school. So you might want to delete the account. Okay, so how are we gonna handle the teachers who are transferring or retiring? So before we delete the account, I would highly recommend it that you may ask them to export their Loido data before you delete their account. So let's say this is how it looks like, and let's do it together. So when you click on teachers, and let's say we have 6-1, the teacher's leaving, you click on the teacher's name, you click on to trash, you click on confirm. Okay, so in trash, so after 200 days, this account will be fully deleted, permanently deleted. But before that, we'll just leave it in the trash. Okay, so let's do it together. Let's say we are going to delete one teacher from the school. So everybody please click on teachers and click on 6-1 homeroom teacher. Let's say we're going to delete the 6-1, okay? And click on to trash and click on confirm. Okay, then when you go to trash, you can see that the teacher's account is in the trash bin. Okay, click on teachers and click on to trash. So let's say you wanted to delete the teacher permanently, but if you click on it, you see there's no deleting here, right? Because we need to first use the filter. So unused teachers, and then let's say you have so many teachers in here, just click on the icon and click on delete and click on confirm. Okay. So once you've finished, go back to your admin console and click on complete and return to the main menu of end of year account processing. So did you see that we checked 4 boxes? So we just finished the end of school year processing. So we have processed the graduates and transfer students, we closed subjects, we closed classes, and we also handling one teacher who, let's say, are transferring or retiring to another school. So once you're ready, we're going to do the green part. Okay, so it's prepare for new school year. So click on prepare for new school year. So I remember in Kuala Kangsar, everybody's using Google account, right? But because this is a demo school, I don't really have anyone's Google information. So we're going to use the Loyal ID for demonstration. But in real practice, please click on Google account because the Excel template is different. So you cannot use the Google account for Loyal ID. So please make sure for today we use Loyal ID, but in real practice, please use Google account. Okay. Alrighty, so in general practice, you will need to download the Excel file template. But to save us a little bit of time, I've already downloaded and filled it in. So what you have to do is just import it into the system. Okay, make sense? Okay, let's do the registered new teachers together. So this is the template. So if you could just open up the Excel template, I just sent it to you. So you will see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs underneath, maybe 7, I cannot remember it. So today we are only going to use 4 of them, which is the new teachers, new students, new classes, and regular subjects. To just keep it simple, okay? Because once you fill it in the system, it's so difficult to fix it. So spend some time for the preparations, save you a lot of time in the future, okay? So make sure fill in the template exactly like it is and no extra or like I call missing fields. But you know what? Short keys is optional, so you don't have to fill it in if you don't want to fill it in, okay? Alrighty, so let's say this is your operation screen and choose file. And did you guys have the Excel template ready? So please import the Excel template. I just sent it to you. The name would be, Annual Processing Loyal ID Excel. So make sure you've got that and click on Open. So we will be using 4 tabs. So you just need to click on this 4. Okay, so let's say in real practice in your school, you also have optional subjects that you wanted to do in the admin console. You can also fill in the Excel template and click on the optional subjects, but it's not compulsory. You know, for me, I personally don't really want to do the optional because it's pretty difficult compared to the regular subjects, right? So if you really want to do the optional subjects, I will say, I will just do it in the blue Loyal screen because it's easier. So let's say you wanted to add subjects and then you want to create new classes. It's called, let's say, optional. Well, wait, no, let's say French. Oops. So let's say this is your optional subjects and click on OK. And then you click on French again for a new subjects. You click on create and you click on OK. And then you pass this class code to the students. So let's say today we're going to do new teachers, new students, new classes for current students, and new subjects. Okay, so once you check those 4, click on Start Batch Process via Excel. Check the detail. If there isn't any problem, batch process this Excel spreadsheet. And, okay, so everybody please pay attention to this one. So if this dialog is pink, which means there's error. Okay, so don't panic. You can always go back and fix the Excel spreadsheet and re-upload it again. Okay, if there's no problem, click on confirm. And it will, okay, so for Loyal ID, we have password, but for Google, don't worry about it. This one jump up. Okay, click on next. And click on complete and proceed. Okay, so let's do it together. So let's say today we're going to do the Loyal ID, and then I'm going to, so in real case, please don't forget to download the Excel file template. Okay, but for today, just click on choose a file. Okay, my computer is a little bit slow, so just give it a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm about to import my Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so today click on Loyal ID registration for new teachers, new students, new classes, and regular subjects. Okay, so start batch process by Excel. Batch process this Excel spreadsheet, and then click on confirm. And then click on download Excel file, and click on next, and click on complete and proceed. All right, so let's say we have finished new teachers, import new teachers. Now we're going to do the new students. Okay, so this is the Excel template. Again, we have grades and classes. Even though it's optional, I personally wanted to fit it in because it's easier, because if you have the grades and classes, so you don't have to allocate a student later for their classes. So even though it's optional, I will say just fill it in, okay? And full name is compulsory, and your user ID. If it's Google, that will be the Gmail address. Short key is optional. Don't really need to worry about it. Again, fill in the template exactly like it is. Please, no extra mixing field, or otherwise it won't go through. Okay, so stays in this spreadsheet and batch process file, this one. Okay, remember this is next year. So it's gonna be 2026, January 00. You don't have to touch this part because it's by default at the end of the semester. And then click on Start Batch Process by Excel. And then click on 6 years later because it's grade 1. Okay, click on Next. And click on Confirm. If there's no problem, click on Confirm. So again, if there's an error in this page, always go back and fix your Excel spreadsheet. If there's no problem, click on Confirm. For Loyal ID only, you need to download the password and username and click on Next. And click on Complete and Proceed. Okay, so let's do it together. So remember, we have already finished the new teachers, right? And then we're going to do the new students. If there isn't any problem, you just click on Batch Process this Excel spreadsheet. Because it's next year, so it will be 2026, 0101 and 00, 00. Okay, so double check this. So remember, this is highly sensitive towards the date and time. So make sure it's 00 or whatever, like 9 o'clock. It's up to you. But when you start your class, is when you start your subject. So let's say you wanted to start 1st January, 9 o'clock for your classes. Please also set up your subjects as 9 o'clock because it's easier. Okay, so start batch process by Excel. And year 1 will be graded after 6 years. Click on 6 years and click on Next. Alrighty, so if there isn't any problems, please click on Confirm. And for Loyal ID, click on Download the password. For Google or Microsoft, don't worry about it, and click on Next. Once it's finished, click on Complete and Proceed. Okay, so now we're going to the new classes for current students. Okay, the keyword in here is new classes and current students. So ensure you've already got everything sorted. And this one, okay, everybody please pay really attention. I used to have teachers asking me, hey, what about the year 1? Remember, this is the current students. But for new students, we already put the classes, remember? Grade 1, class 2. So in this Excel spreadsheet, make sure is this year's classes for current students. So remember to skip the new students, they're already in. Remember, we've already done it in here, the last step. So make sure you didn't make this wrong, okay? All right, so you're in your admin council page, and I really love this design. I think they're pretty smart. Do you remember we set up the class term for new students for grade 1? So the system actually memorized it for the settings. So you basically don't have to touch anything in here because obviously you will start all at the same time, isn't it? So don't touch anything about it. If it's January 1, just stay there and click on Start Batch Process by Excel. And returns great, no problems. Click on Confirm. Click on Complete and Proceed. Okay, so let's do it together here. So new classes for current students. Click on Batch Process this sheet. Okay, so see, by default, it's already there. You don't have to touch anything and click on Start Batch Process by Excel. Okay, so shouldn't be any problem. So if it's pink, please make sure you go back and fix it. Okay, click on Confirm. Okay, click on Complete and Proceed. All right, then it will jump straight back to the regular subjects. All right, so we have already demonstrated how to do the electives and the optionals. So now we're going to do the registered subjects for new school year, the compulsory one. So let's say every grade and every class has 8 subjects. So that's why you have to fill all of it. And also you can see that, hey, are they the same teachers? Yes, even though they are the same teachers, but because this teacher is teaching different subjects. So in here, if you're using Google, so this one will be their Google email address. So makes sense. All right, let's do it together. So let's say you have 48 subjects for this year and click on Batch Process this Excel spreadsheet. And also, you don't really need to change anything in here because the system has already remembered it. Okay, so once you finish, click on Next. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about this shared folder. So this year we have a new features. It's called the shared subject folders. You know, it says it's recommended, but if you don't use it, you don't need to worry about it. But basically is that it can be shared between subjects with the same grade, subject name, teacher, and date and time. And please note that this will not be linked with individually created shared subject folders from the subject list. And please click on Batch Process this Excel spreadsheet. And yes, thank you. And then click on Next, because remember, you don't have to touch anything. When you start your classes, it's when you start the subjects. Okay, so click on Next. You can use this one, or if you don't use it, you can just leave it like that. If no problems, click on Start Batch Process by Excel. Okay, so double check if it's if it's pink, which means there's a problem there, and click on Return. Okay, so click on Confirm. Okay, just give it a little time. And finally, complete and return to the main menu of end of year account processing. The toolbars in here, sorry, this one, and click on Complete End of Year Account Processing. Now we finally finished the whole process. Congratulations. Now we come to the QA. I'm going to quickly show you the menu page. So if you wanted to know, let's say, not just the end of year account processing, maybe new features or some functions you are not understand, this is the English menu page. And we also have the traditional Chinese one. And I'm also going to put it here. So for the end of year account processing, we also have it in traditional Chinese. So if this one is easier for you, please also feel free to check it on. And we also have the videos in here as well. So if Chinese is easier for you, then just use the Chinese one. I would say never delete classes and subjects, just closing them. All right, so it's easier. So let's say if you delete the classes or subjects, you will lose all the records because notes, remember notes, subjects, and classes, they all link together. So if you delete a subject, you still keep the classes open, it doesn't really make sense, okay? So I would say, remember you closed it so that you can have all the past records. So you can find all your informations in the finished classes. All right, so the common error 2 is continue using classes after renaming instead of closing them. Oh, this is really, I would say it's pretty chaotic. I used to have one school coming to tell me that every year they just rename the classes. So let's say you have 1A, you know, the same students, right? And she was telling me, you know what? I know a quicker way. You don't have to do end of year account processing. You just change the name. And I was talking to her. I mean, I appreciate that you're being very creative, but the problem is the only reason for you to do the end of year account processing was to make sure you stored the old information in the previous folder, and then you get everything clean or fresh in the new year. All right. So which means you please don't rename the classes, because you're going to mix the old and new data. Think about it. You have a student using Loilo for 6 years. You just keep renaming the classes. So at the end of 6 years, this student will have 3,000 notes. It's going to be very crazy. So remember, even though they're the same students, yeah, it was pretty chaotic. I was looking at it. I was like, oh, do you know end of year account processing? The teachers say, I've never heard of it. I was like, that's okay. That's okay. At least you didn't delete it. All right. So for the solution is for current students, make sure you archive, remember, the closed subjects and closed classes, and manually create new classes for the same group of students. So, and then the next one, okay. So I was pretty afraid of this one. So for new school year, most of the time we will have two common errors as well. The first one, the user ID is being used. I think I just keep remember it like this one. You see that, oh, this user ID belongs to students that was moved to the trash, blah, blah, blah. So what happened was that, remember I told you guys, please never ever change the student or teacher's ID, because the student's ID is the unique identification for the user. So if you changed it, or if you delete it, or whatever, let's say you move it to the trash and you wanted to import it again, the system will detach the ID that has been used. All right, so the solution is really difficult. So I will explain in a quick detail, but if you really had a problem with this error, please send a message to me in WhatsApp so we can just guide you through. It's easier. So let's say you're using Google, you have to disconnect the email again, change the user ID, move it to the church, and recreate another account. Too complicated, I don't recommend. So the easiest way is not to do the things right, it's only do the right things at the first place. Okay. Okay, the error number 2. Oh, this is a very creative way that I've been taught by a teacher. Unenroll existing students from a class and enroll new students into the same class. Okay, what does that really mean? Oh, I was pretty amazed that the teacher was being very creative. She said, oh, I have 1A for this year. For next year, I also have 1A. So what she did is she removed the current students from 1A and she put the new students into 1A. Remember? Students go with classes and teacher go with subjects. That's how I always remember it, because teachers taught subjects, right? But students, a group of students, it's called a class. Okay, so what she's doing is that she just get rid of the students and then she put new students in the previous class. So what happened is, like, do you remember all the students are linked with the current 1A? Which means once you get rid of the student, the notes, where are we going to store the notes? It's gone, right? So to put it very simple, even though you have 1A for like 5 or 6 years, but they are not the 1A they used to be. So let's say the solution is very simple. Do the proper end of year account processing, close the previous 1A, and create a new 1A for new students. All right, so if you have any inquiries or if you have any problems or concerns, please feel free to shoot us a message, global@loila.tv, or I would say WhatsApp is easier for me. So if you don't mind, just WhatsApp me and I will reply you. But there's only one thing. Let's say you have any inquiry regards to your students' registration, which include password or some personal information, please don't send it in WhatsApp, not the group WhatsApp. Okay, so my personal WhatsApp is this one. I just send it to the group chat. So anything regards to password, personal information, please don't send in the group chat because it's highly sensitive.